Hey Crate Diggers, I've got soundtracks next on Vinyl Jeopardy. So Crate Diggers, do you like soundtracks? I have a whole bunch of them, so I hope you do. First, let me give a shout out to Prince Army Las Vegas. I have on my PALV shirt today, and if you want information about the PALV, the Prince Army here in Las Vegas, I'll put some information down in the description. But let's start out with some of the old soundtracks that I have. This might take 2, maybe 3 videos because I have a lot to go through, but we'll see. So let's start with this one, Ben-Hur. This is from the motion picture Ben-Hur with Charleston Heston. It is a biblical story about around the time of Jesus' crucifixion. It is a gatefold, and it has in it some of the pictures from the movie. And it has a description of the movie in here. It's a very old one. The music is orchestra music. It's very intense and very fast paced with horns and violins, and it's some pretty intense stuff. Good for dishwashing music. Next up, Porgy and Bess. This is a movie with Sidney Poitier and Dorothy Dandridge. I believe that I've seen it, but I barely remember it. It was actually a Broadway play that was done in the early 30s, actually, and later on with Pearl Bailey and some other people. But this particular one, actually, Pearl Bailey is in the movie as well of this soundtrack. Sidney Poitier has a wonderful voice, and of course we know that Dorothy Dandridge did. What I don't know is if their voices are actually featured on this album. It doesn't say, and I couldn't really tell very well. Sammy Davis Jr. was in this movie, as well as Cab Calloway. So this is a pretty good soundtrack, and it is a good rendition of the movie. The movie is about this crippled dude that wants to get with Dorothy, and Dorothy wants to get with this other dude. Anyway, I barely remember it, but I'm pretty sure I saw it. Porgy and Bess. Rodgers and Hammerstein's South Pacific. This is starring Rosanna Brazzi, Mitzi Gaynor, and John Kerr. This movie, of course, is a classic. A lot of people know it, and one of the songs on here that has been used for a lot of commercials and other things, I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair, is on this. This is a fun record. This movie I know I've never seen, but I have heard the music that is on here from, of course, the famous Rodgers and Hammerstein. Here is a classic that everybody knows, West Side Story with Natalie Wood and Richard Beymer. This is, it also has Rita Moreno in this. It is a Romeo and Juliet story about 2 opposing gangs. I've seen it a long, long time ago, but I don't remember much about it. The songs that are on it that are very popular, The Rumble, I Feel Pretty, and Somewhere. So on the inside, it does have the liner notes, and it has some information about the story of how the story goes for West Side Story. So this is a classic that a lot of people know, and what you should have in your soundtrack collection. If you have soundtracks, you should have West Side Story. Okay, here is a soundtrack called The Boyfriend, and it's starring Twiggy. And wow, the music on here is not music that I particularly liked, but I picked this up because I thought the album cover was just interesting with Twiggy being there in the middle. It's kind of a spoof, kind of a comedy thing. Here's a gatefold with some pictures from the movie. Has anybody seen this movie? I have not seen this movie. So if you have seen this movie, tell me about it in the comments. What is it about? It seems like it's kind of a spoof about musicals from the 30s and 40s. So it has those musicals, well, maybe from the 20s even. It has those kind of elements. And then here on the other side is a picture of Twiggy with a scene from the movie. And this says DJ not for sale. Well, somebody sold it to me. Anyway, this was in the early 70s that this movie came out. If you saw it, tell me about it. Very interested to know about The Boyfriend featuring Twiggy. This movie is called The Idolmaker, and it is from 1980. The reason that I got this is because I read somewhere and never read it again, so it's not verified, but I read somewhere that this is the movie that inspired Prince to want to do Purple Rain, which, you know, very interesting. This movie is about a young man who becomes a singer, and his relationship as it deteriorates with his manager. And so it has on here on the back some of the main characters. And the songs are not memorable, but it's one of those movies that was made in the 80s, but it takes place in the 50s. I want to say that it takes place in the early 50s, and that this person is supposed to be like a Elvis type character, but the music is not exactly authentically 50s music. Kind of like Grease. You know how Grease is taking place in the 50s, but the music is really from the 70s? That's how this is. The music is really from the 80s, but it's supposed to be from the 50s. The movie was just okay, but that's why I got it. The Idolmaker. And speaking of Grease, here it is. This is the motion picture with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. This is a gatefold, and it has a bunch of pictures in here from, of course, the movie, and all of the cast here with a welcome to Rydell High. And the songs on here produced by the Bee Gees, well, by Barry Gibb. Not all the Bee Gees, just Barry Gibb. It has all the songs that we love to remember, like Hopelessly Devoted, Sandy, Beauty School Dropout, Grease Lightning. All of those songs are on here, and Grease is still very popular today. Just now at Halloween, I saw so many people dressed up as the characters from Grease. And so finally, we should talk about Prince now. This is the soundtrack to the movie Purple Rain, and this is an iconic album. The movie, the story, but it was like a very long music video, and the music in this movie is fantastic. Iconic album. Prince's performance in the movie was excellent. I saw it recently, and I was telling a friend that this particular character, the character of Kid, not the most likable fellow, but you can't help but like them because of Prince's performance in the movie. The songs on here, I Would Die For You, Let's Go Crazy, Computer Blue, Baby I'm a Star, and of course Purple Rain. So this album, I really couldn't say more. I could say a whole lot about it. I couldn't say how great it is because of course this is one of the movies of our generation, and also the soundtrack, probably one of the best soundtracks of our generation. I can't even think of a better soundtrack. Moving on, however, to Prince's second movie, which was Under the Cherry Moon. So this album, Parade, is the soundtrack to Under the Cherry Moon. It is a gatefold, and it has a bunch of pictures. None of them are from the movie. This soundtrack does not feel like a soundtrack when you watch the movie. Very much like Batman, which we will not get to because I do not have Batman. Wait a minute. How could I not have Batman? I think I have it. Anyway, I think maybe I just have a single. Maybe I don't have Batman, but we're not talking about that one yet. Anyway, what I was saying is that the music on here does not feel like the soundtrack. Although the music is in the movie, it's barely detectable. That's what I'm saying. One song on here that is not in the movie at all is Kiss. That is the first single from this, but it does have some really great music on it. It has mountains on here. What else does it have? This is a really great album. Look at the inside. Prince and the Revolution, Parade, from Under the Cherry Moon. It has on here Sometimes It Snows in April. It has Girls and Boys. Sometimes It Snows is a very sad song. A lot of people can't even stand to hear that song now. Do You Lie? Another Lover, Hole in the Head. Yeah. A Hole in Your Head. Sorry. Another Lover, Hole in Your Head is the name of the song. It has some really good songs on this album. The movie. Yeah, I don't really have very much to say about the movie. Moving on. Staying with Prince, Graffiti Bridge. This is Prince's third movie. This album has all of the songs that are on this album are in the movie, and the songs do tell the story of the movie. Now, it took me a long time. I saw this movie a few times, and it took me a while to figure out that the movie was the sequel to Purple Rain. Why? Because the story doesn't seem to have anything at all to do with Purple Rain. So that's my pet peeve about it. Outside of it not being a great movie with a great story written and directed by Prince, as was Under the Cherry Moon was directed by Prince, not written by him. But the movie, the story, not the greatest. The music, as always, beautiful. Tick Tick Bang is on here. Thieves in the Temple is on here. Shake, You Better Shake Something. Graffiti Bridge, The Question of You, Elephants and Flowers. There's just so many great songs on this album. It's a double album, and so it has on the inside these inside covers, which are wonderful. So that is Graffiti Bridge. Prince did do 2 other soundtracks. One was for his movie Sign O' the Times, and also the Batman soundtrack. Uh, I have tragically lost both of them. You don't want to hear the story. It spans from Washington, D.C. all the way to California. But anyway, I think I'm going to stop right here and give you the rest of the soundtracks on another time. What soundtracks do you think are essential to have in your vinyl collection? I would love to know. Write some comments below and let me know. If you want to know more about when I get new vinyl and vinyl talk and stuff that crate diggers talk about, then you should ring the bell for notifications. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Mequilla Sunrise, and this is Vinyl Jeopardy.
These are my records.